legit. Anything you want.
XRP is explicitly legalized and endorsed in Thailand, reveals Ripple's Garlinghouse. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, recently appeared at the Singapore FinTech Festival to speak about the regulatory atmosphere in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. In a discussion with the International Monetary Fund's Deputy General Counsel Ross Lecco, Garlinghouse spoke about the ASEAN markets and their role in Ripple's plan for building the Internet of Value. He began by saying that there are a number of unique things that occur in these countries that are worth calling out, such as the impact of regulatory clarity on driving the adoption of blockchain and digital asset technology. Quoting Singapore as the example, Garlinghouse stated that it is one country that has done a lot to be a leader in this space. He went on to explain how regulatory clarity has allowed the market to invest in the space. Garlinghouse elaborated, Thailand would be another country that we've seen that has expressly and explicitly legalized and endorsed digital assets including XRP. We've seen some of that same activity in the Philippines. He further stated that the first dynamic in regulation that has impacted the adoption of blockchain across markets in the Asian space is regulatory clarity, which still remains important. He stated that it was surprising to see how many markets have a lot of uncertainty, even as there are real use cases being seen and real problems or customers being solved. He stated, if we can have that regulatory certainty, and I'm talking about Ripple but I'm also talking about for other companies in the space also, the more quickly we can see adoption of those technologies. He further offered his opinions on the dynamics which might spur the adoption of blockchain technology and digital assets. Secondarily, he also spoke about how ASEAN countries have almost $130 billion in inbound remittances, which cause expensive fees for the everyday population. He went to say that the market is ripe for adoption to take advantage of blockchain. He added, it's actually interesting to see unfold here in the Asian markets, as in some ways the current and SWIFT-enabled correspondent banking is leaving some of the ASEAN markets behind. Banks have contracted the correspondent banking relationships. It's made this ASEAN market, I think, a ripe market for adoption of blockchain technologies and digital assets. Ripple now sees 50% of all of our global customers here in the Asian markets. Our Singapore office has grown dramatically, about 200% last year.
Ripple XRP community hawkish towards Hive list. Hive.one, formerly dubbed as crypto influencers, has been forced to remove its Ripple section. The platform's team admitted that it received plenty of criticism but refused to disclose the reason for the criticism, and instead put out a statement, pointing out that this was the first time that they had encountered this kind of resistance. They mentioned that they were not publishing the list but noted that this was for the time being. Crypto influencers, now Hive.one, launched in December of last year and has been praised as being the most accurate platform when it comes to ranking influential figures in the cryptocurrency community. The platform has created its list based on social media presence. In fact, the platform's algorithm is solely based on Twitter data, which remains the leading platform for cryptocurrency investors, traders, and influencers. It analyzes the accounts of the public figures that are prominent within the cryptocurrency community and then goes on to measure the engagement metrics within the community, based on how users interact and react to these influencers, as well. This includes metrics such as likes and retweets. For example, if an up-and-coming cryptocurrency analyst or influencer is steadily growing regarding likes/retweets, this data helps Hive.one create their list, and that particular analyst or influencer might be able to move up the list. While the company did not publish the list, it went to Twitter to share some insights. The platform concluded that the most influential member of the Ripple community was none other than the CTO of Ripple, Joel Katz, according to their research. The influencer that is not a formal member of Ripple that was considered the most influential was Hoder7777, a blogger who is an XRP supporter that has around 40,000 followers. Next up, Tiffany Hayden is one of the most famous Ripple supporters and boasts about 70,000 followers, and many in the Ripple community considered her to be the obvious choice for the most influential advocate that was not directly part of the company. Tiffany Hayden took to Twitter to point out her issues with the list, pointing out that it included ex-employees of Ripple who hadn't worked there in years and even deceased individuals. Though she questioned the credibility of the list, she was quick to point out that it wasn't a popularity contest. Another insightful fact that the company shared was that it found that Joel Katz was actually more influential over the Ripple community than Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum, is over the Ethereum community. Although Hive has stated that the list does not mean to endorse anyone, some people speculate that the outrage over Joel Katz being so high on the list can be attributed to the fact that he hasn't been as active in the Ripple community that the list would suggest. This is the first time there has been so much bitterness surrounding Hive, considering that the platform gathers data merely. While some may take this as a sign of a responsive and supportive community that wants its influencers to get its just due, there are others who feel like the outrage is not justified and is excessive.